Maybe the first question that is on some people's head is, how does this impact people that are using or interacting with these systems?
Yeah, so in a few different ways. The most major one is if the system is poorly designed, it could impact them in sort of a very serious way. So a classic thing that we've seen on decentralized exchanges is they have like a bad UI where it allows people to make a typo in the price that they want to pay for something. Most exchanges, if you make a typo in the price you want to pay, it won't really matter, because if that order does match with other people's orders, you'll still get the best price for that order. But in decentralized exchanges, if you make a typo, you're going to get the price that you made the typo on, not the real price. So normally what you might think is, okay, I made a typo on an order, let me cancel it really quickly because I noticed right away, right? But when you go to cancel it, what you might notice is that bots actually front run your cancel so that they can trade your typo because it's profitable for them to do that. So you might lose a lot of money, and people have lost like hundreds or thousands of dollars. Like many hundreds of people have lost money because they made a typo, tried to cancel something, and their cancel transaction was beaten to the blockchain by some bot that said, oh, that's a nice typo, I actually want that wrong price, and took their order, basically. Another impact is, even if you have a perfect system where you can't make mistakes, basically the price in an exchange sort of moves constantly, even when there's not like a block in the blockchain or something like that, because it's just like the price people are willing to pay in the system, right? So when you make a trade, you kind of have to guess, like, you have to basically specify a range of prices you're okay with. Because if you give an exact price, by the time you send that price might have already changed a little bit, and then your order won't work. What this kind of thing means is that basically you'll always get the worst price you're willing to accept, because some bot will sort of take that difference between like the real price and the worst price you're willing to accept. So it just means for every trade you do, you're going to pay a little bit more. You're going to get a little bit of a worse price, and that money is going to sort of go into the bot ecosystem.
Do you think it could, in the future, impact people, let's say, like, that aren't using crypto or that aren't interacting with blockchains? Do you think maybe the ideas behind this could affect them in some way too, down the line?
Yeah, I mean, I think basically, like in a financial system, everything is interrelated in some way. So one of the dangerous things that's in our paper about this whole system, and one of actually the new things that's in our paper that people didn't realize before, was that if you have a lot of this sort of bot action going on, where they're doing arbitrage, that's what we generally call this, where they're trying to like take these small differences in price and profit from it. If this is happening a lot in your blockchain, then that might actually make the whole blockchain unstable and break the entire blockchain. Why would that happen? Because miners will sort of start fighting each other to make this profit in the front-running game, and they'll stop honestly mining the blockchain. So if we're both miners, and you mine a block, and you just made like $1 billion in your block, because there's so much sort of arbitrage and front-running you can do, then I come to mine the next block, I might want to pretend your block doesn't exist at all, and just sort of ignore it, and try to beat you out. Because if I beat you out, then I get the $1 billion, right? So if every miner is doing this, then eventually they're all going to sort of just end up ignoring each other's blocks and trying to beat each other for like the ultimate arbitrage, and the blockchain just stops working. Now, if that happens, the price could go down, and today that's probably not going to be an issue because blockchains are sort of small toys mostly. But if you have a blockchain that's really like integrated into an economy where people are getting their salaries on the blockchain, they're using, stable coins or whatever kind of thing on the blockchain, like for real purchases, then all those people will be impacted by the blockchain becoming less secure in that way.
Actually, on that, maybe, I don't know if you thought how front running could be related to stable coins in any way. I don't know if there is some relationship, because I guess stable coins, it's most of it, the ideas around it is like it's a system of debt, and there's like debt collectors, people that are like putting down money in exchange with these stable coins. I don't know if there are any relationships.
No, there's a lot of relationships. One of the big ones is when you go to collect on someone's debt that's due, so you're like repoing their stuff or whatever, a program on a blockchain doesn't sort of run by itself. It needs someone to poke it and say like, okay, it's time to collect this guy's debt. And then it'll check and it'll say, okay, it is, you're right, now I'm going to collect his debt.
Right.
So the person who pokes it gets paid a small fee, or a big fee sometimes, because you want that debt to be collected, so you have to offer whoever pokes it a lot of money, because you really want them to poke it.
Right.
Otherwise, if the debt is not collected, then your system stops working.
Mm-hmm.
So similar to like front running in DEXs, there's people front running these debt collections. So if you're trying to poke the program is going to pay you a $10,000 bounty for telling it that that guy is late on his debt. Then maybe I'll try to poke the program for the same thing and beat you to the program, and then I get paid instead of you. So then we can potentially enter a bidding war of like who's going to get to collect the person's debt and get the fee. And we're in that sense kind of trying to front run each other,
Right.
Or at least bid for priority space, knowing that the other person is sort of going to participate. So that's one way that it's like very, very directly sort of related. And the other thing is, as you said, the miner instability. So like it gives similar incentives to miners to basically mess with these systems.
Right.
And one of the attacks we talk about in DEXs is what we call time-banded attack. So this is sort of separate from front-running. It's something miners can do to profit off of decentralized exchanges, where you go back to the past and you change the history of what happened, what trades people do, by doing a 51% attack and sort of attacking the network.
Okay.
And basically what you can do is put yourself on the other side of every trade that would have been profitable in the past. So you basically kind of like rob the exchange like in the past using this 51% attack. And you can use that to pay for the attack. So if you can make $1 million off of rewriting the last day of history, and the attack costs 500,000, then obviously you should do it because you'll make $1 million for 500,000.
So what you're saying is that previously, when people talk about 51% attack, it's really around double spending. That was the main attack.
Right.
But now the incentives are so complex that you're saying it's even worth it to not, like double spending isn't important anymore. It's like all this other stuff.
Right.
Like, yeah, like getting in front of, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
So you can rewrite history in decentralized exchanges. You can also do that for stablecoins. So you can choose whose debt gets collected and whose doesn't. You can like pick and choose because you can like just not poke the contract to collect someone's debt if you don't want to. So you can make sure your debt never gets collected on. You can also change the price to sort of whatever you want because all these systems rely on like an oracle basically telling them the price of cryptocurrency. So you can edit what that oracle thinks the price is in the past also to try to manipulate the system and like get money out of it. So it's a very complicated game basically, but if you can find some way to like rewrite history so that at the end of the day you profit, then you're good basically.